Hi, my name is Chen and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to teach you 4 tips in order to answer the tell me about yourself interview question the right way so that you can stand out in front of hiring managers and ideally land more job offers. Now, before we start, there are a couple of ground rules you need to know before you can develop the perfect answer to this question. Rule number 1. Do not talk about your personal or family life. When someone asks you, tell me about yourself, they're not actually asking you to tell them about your personal life choices and the mistakes that you've learned from and how you got there as a human being. They're not actually asking you to tell them about yourself. They're actually asking you to tell them about your qualifications, your experiences, as well as why you're a good fit for this role. That's it. They just want to know about your personal background and experience in a nutshell. Rule number 2. Do tell a story. Even though I said you shouldn't be telling them about your life story, you do want to tell them your professional work story. I'll get into details about this a little later, but essentially, a good professional work story means that it needs to be engaging, compelling, clear, and complete. So now that we've got the ground rules out of the way, let's move on to our 4 major tips on how to answer the tell me about yourself interview question. Tip number 1. Give a snapshot of your work history. So what this means is you're going to go back in time to the earliest professional job you've ever held and you're going to start your story from there. This includes company name, your title, number of years in that role, your major responsibilities. So essentially, you're going to describe what company you worked at, what a title you held when you were in that position, how long you stayed in that position for, and most importantly, what were your major responsibilities in that position. So for example, let's just say that you started off your career 5 years ago as a team manager. Okay, let's just make this up. Let's just use another role example. You started off your career 5 years ago as a customer service representative, and then you move up to subject matter expert, and now you're a team manager. When you tell your story, you're going to start off with your role as a customer service representative, and you're going to say something along the lines of, I started off my career as a customer service representative 5 years ago with XYZ company, where I performed full cycle customer care duties, customer satisfaction, and customer success. So now you're going to do that for each and every one of your positions. You're essentially telling mini work snapshots for every position that you've held up to the current position that you're holding right now. Tip number 2. Make your mini stories achievement oriented. So after you told the employer about the company you were at, the title that you held, the number of years you were there for, and the major responsibilities that you had in that position, you're then going to describe one major accomplishment that you were able to achieve in that role. An accomplishment is any time where you have saved time, saved money, improved processes, improved profitability. Anything where you've done something that has resulted in a quantifiable, ideally quantifiable result for your company or your department. So to add on to our example, you would say, in that role, a major accomplishment I'm most proud of was that I was able to handle a team and got end of month passing scorecard. So you'll do both this tip number 2 and tip number 1 in conjunction with each other for every single position that you've held. Tip number 3. Tell the employer what you know about this role. Once you've gone through your entire story and you've told the employer about your major roles as well as the accomplishments that you've achieved, it's now time to acknowledge to the employer what you know they need to for this particular position and they're hiring for. So to continue in our example, you'll then say, I understand that for this position of team leader that you're hiring for, you're looking for someone with leadership skills. The reason why this is so important and that so many people don't do this is because what it does psychologically is that it tells the employer that not only are you aware of your abilities and your achievements, but also aware of his or her needs as well as what they are looking for. And when you say something as simple as just simply acknowledging, I am aware that the role you need is someone with leadership experience and have the abilities to handle a team. It's creating a connection with the employer. It's not you any longer talking at them. You're talking to them. And finally, onto tip number 4, tell the employer why you're the right fit for what they need. This is the icing on the cake. It's the cherry on top. And it's the one thing that many people do not bother to say when they're answering this or many other interview questions. And that is to tell the employer to literally spoon feed them, to maybe even brainwash them to understanding why you are the one and only and perfect fit for this position. So to add on to our example, you would say something like, overall, due to my strong background and achievements successfully identifying gaps and creating efficiencies, I am confident I'll be able to succeed in this role you're hiring for. You need to tell the employer why you're the right fit for the job. If you don't end off with this, it's going to end off on a flat knot. It's not going to be the most stellar response. It's just going to sound like everybody else responds. But in this case, you're being very clear and specific, even without them ask you why you're the right fit. You're literally just feeding it to them and telling them, I'm the right fit for the role above all else. So now you know how to answer one of the toughest interview questions. If you like this video, click the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you'll get notified on my next videos.